All right, Devin, let's stay with you very briefly. Your stock pick.
Sure. So it's one we've chatted about before, Reunert. Three very key divisions in it: electrical engineering, which is renewables, and basically with the proposed grid build out and the reliance on renewable providers, they're really well placed to do that. They've got a very nice ICT division, and that's not demanding a multiple that you would see in other jurisdictions. And then also in applied electronics, which is really defense and high-tech radar, missile systems and the like that they export. We think that's a great rand hedge and quite a diversifying play in the South African market.
There we go. Right. Jordan, yours in a nutshell, what are you looking at?
So very briefly, and I know it's not maybe the most traditional of stock picks, we talked about Starlink a moment ago. I wanted to just briefly touch on SpaceX. It's obviously not listed yet, but there's the expectation that it will be listed later this year. No confirmation on that yet, so we'll have to wait and see. But it's one that I've watched quite closely and quite interested in. I mean, I think it's important also that it's not just sort of a rocket company, right? There's the infrastructure, which is obviously launches, of which they have sort of 90% share of all commercial space launches. There's the connectivity space. We touched on Starlink earlier, which is largely the main or only revenue generating part of that business at the moment, and then sort of a more defense aspect to the business. One point I wanted to mention, I think that's quite important for investors to remember, especially if this does IPO this year, is like usually our take on IPOs is that they've not been great for retail investors. There's a lot of pricing that goes on in the background that banks need to make sure that they're also getting good value in that IPO and existing shareholders. So there are always risks when looking at investing into an IPO. But I think if you're looking at buying something like SpaceX, you're taking a very long-term view. And I mean, it aligns a lot with our philosophy. We think that, the direction of travel is one way. I mean, there's lots more. You hear talk about data centers in space. I think that is a long-term play. But, when we look at something like this where there isn't really anything else like that in the market, it definitely piques our interest. So, as I said, it could be one of the largest IPOs in history. But something we're keeping a close eye on.
Gosh, that is exciting. It really is. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us on Business Lunch today, and have a great weekend. We'll speak to you again, I'm sure, next week. Thank you so much. Thanks to our guest, Devin Shutte from the Reunert Group, and also to Jordan Toy from Legacy Family Wealth. Now, do remember that Stockwatch pre-records on a Monday and a Wednesday at 1 p.m. and is live at 6:30 p.m. on a Tuesday and Thursday, while Stockwatch this week is live at 12:30 p.m. on Fridays. Keep that in mind and keep your questions coming. For now, that's all from Stockwatch this week, but do stay tuned for lots more coming up right here on Business Day TV.